Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down every single chapter of the greatest story ever told. And today we are on chapter 20.
Chapter 20 is titled, I Don't Know.
And let me tell you, what Buggy doesn't know is about to seriously hurt him. This chapter is the absolute perfect showcase of why you cannot fight Luffy with a normal set of rules. He just plays a different game.
He sees the world differently, and when his opponent's power literally breaks the rules of physics, Luffy just finds a different rule to exploit.
Exactly. He's like, oh, so the laws of swords and blades don't apply to you? Cool. How do you feel about the laws of biology? The laws of comedic timing? It's incredible. And we see the birth of some legendary Straw Hat teamwork here, even before the crew is fully formed. It's the kind of moment that makes you want to go back and reread everything from the beginning. If you're on that journey with us and you want to make sure you catch every brilliant piece of Oda's puzzle, maybe tie this podcast to your feed so you don't miss a thing.
A good suggestion. Now, let's get into it. The chapter opens right where we left off. Nami has the treasure, she has the map, and Buggy is furious.
She is booking it through Orangetown with this giant sack of treasure, and Buggy's upper half is just floating right behind her, knives out, looking absolutely terrifying.
It's a great horror movie image, the floating, disembodied torso chasing her down. There's something deeply unnatural about it. It's not just a man flying, it's a part of a man flying, which violates our fundamental understanding of how bodies are supposed to work. Oda is already showing a flair for that kind of unsettling body horror that he sprinkles throughout the series.
For sure. It's like something out of a nightmare. But that's the genius of One Piece, right? It can be terrifying in one panel and then absolutely ridiculous in the next. Because Luffy, ever the observer, isn't watching the chase. He's not focused on the scary flying torso with the knives.
He's looking at what's not moving. He sees Buggy's legs just standing there in the middle of the street, totally stationary, alone, vulnerable.
They're just chillin', casually standing there like they're waiting for a bus. And Luffy, our beautiful, simple-minded genius, isn't thinking about the complexities of the chop-chop fruit. He's not wondering, how does this work? What are the scientific principles at play? He's thinking, hey, look, feet.
And he gets this little glint in his eye, that classic shark-like grin. He knows. He has solved a puzzle in a single glance.
And then he just pulls back his leg and delivers the most disrespectful, most strategically brilliant kick in the series so far, right between the legs.
The sheer audacity. Buggy's floating torso is meters away, threatening Nami, and Luffy attacks the part of him that isn't even in the fight. It's a flank attack on a biological level.
I was crying laughing reading this panel. The sheer disrespect is a work of art. Buggy is trying to be this big, scary villain, and Luffy just neuters him from across the street. And it works. Buggy just crumples. His top half slams into the ground, screaming in agony. It's hilarious, but it's also genius. Luffy immediately understood that even though he's in pieces, the damage is all connected to one's central nervous system.
It's the first real chink in the armor of the chop-chop fruit. We were told he can't be cut, that he's immune to swords, which in this world is a phenomenal advantage. But we're learning that invulnerability doesn't mean he can't be hurt. Oda is establishing the rules of devil fruits right here. Every power has a weakness, a limitation, or a core vulnerability. You just have to be smart enough to find it.
And that's our captain. His battle IQ is just off the charts. He doesn't even hesitate. He sees the weakness and exploits it instantly. He saw the feet and immediately understood that they were the anchor. Not just a physical anchor, but a biological one. You wonder if anyone has ever even thought to do that to Buggy before. He's probably fought so many swordsmen who just gave up, but he's never fought an idiot savant like Luffy.
It also raises fascinating questions about devil fruits in general. It implies a concept of a true body, no matter how the power manifests. Even if Buggy's consciousness is in his head, his sense of pain is distributed throughout all his pieces. It makes one wonder about Logia types. If you could somehow land a blow on a Logia user's elemental form, would their true body, wherever that may be, register the pain? It's a fundamental question that the series will, of course, explore much later.
Oh, that's a deep cut. You're thinking way ahead, but you're right. This is the seed. This is Oda teaching us, the readers, how to think about these powers. Don't take them at face value. Look for the loophole. Luffy is the king of loopholes.
As Buggy is writhing, Luffy tells Nami to drop the treasure and run. He's trying to get her out of there, create an opening. He's done his part. He's neutralized the threat for a moment, and now he wants to ensure her safety.
But this is Nami we're talking about, the future financier of the Straw Hat Pirates. She stops dead in her tracks, hugs this giant bag of gold like it's her own child, and just says no, flat out refuses.
She tells Luffy, I stole it, so it's mine.
The logic is so beautifully circular and self-serving. Buggy stole it from the town, she stole it from Buggy. In her mind, that makes her the rightful owner. It's the law of the jungle, or in this case, the law of the cleverest thief. She sees it as a legitimate transfer of ownership.
I love it so much. It's so stubborn and perfectly her. Buggy gets up. He's furious, yelling at her for being a thief. The absolute hypocrisy. And Nami, with all the confidence in the world, just looks this pirate captain in the eye and says, I don't think I've done anything bad enough to be told off by a pirate like you.
And she's right, isn't she? That's the moral grayness of this world. Nami is a criminal, but her crimes are against other criminals. She has a code, even if it's a self-serving one at this point. That line speaks volumes about her past, which we don't even know yet. There's a deep-seated hatred there. She doesn't just see pirates as rivals, she sees them as a lower class of being, something she can steal from with a clear conscience.
It tells you everything about her character. She's not just greedy, she's principled in her own weird way. She has a line she won't cross, and in her mind, Buggy and his crew are so far over that line that they don't even have the right to judge her. And she is not afraid of anyone, not even a guy who can chop himself into pieces. Her desire for that berry outweighs her fear.
Buggy, of course, does not appreciate this perspective. He doesn't see the philosophical nuances of her criminal code. He gets even angrier and launches more of himself at her, his hands, his torso, all flying at her from different directions.
It's a complete sensory overload. You've got blades coming from every angle. This is the Chop Chop fruit at its most dangerous, a disorienting, multi-pronged attack that you can't possibly block all at once. But again, Luffy isn't watching the attack. He's watching the one part of Buggy that isn't flying.
His feet, still on the ground.
Still on the ground, just standing there, looking all lonely. And Luffy, our beautiful, simple-minded genius, isn't thinking about the complexities of the Chop Chop fruit. He's not wondering, how does this work? What are the scientific principles at play? He's thinking, hey, look, feet.
And he gets this little glint in his eye, that classic shark-like grin. He knows. He has solved the puzzle in a single glance.
And then he just pulls back his leg and delivers the most disrespectful, most strategically brilliant kick in the series so far, right between the legs.
The sheer audacity. Buggy's floating torso is meters away, threatening Nami, and Luffy attacks the part of him that isn't even in the fight. It's a flank attack on a biological level. I was crying laughing reading this panel. The sheer disrespect is a work of art. Buggy is trying to be this big, scary villain, and Luffy just neuters him from across the street. And it works. Buggy just crumples. His top half slams into the ground, screaming in agony. It's hilarious, but it's also genius. Luffy immediately understood that even though he's in pieces, the damage is all connected to one central nervous system.
It's the first real chink in the armor of the Chop Chop fruit. We were told he can't be cut, that he's immune to swords, which in this world is a phenomenal advantage. But we're learning that invulnerability doesn't mean he can't be hurt. Oda is establishing the rules of devil fruits right here. Every power has a weakness, a limitation, or a core vulnerability. You just have to be smart enough to find it.
And that's our captain. His battle IQ is just off the charts. He doesn't even hesitate. He sees the weakness and exploits it instantly. He saw the feet and immediately understood that they were the anchor. Not just a physical anchor, but a biological one. You wonder if anyone has ever even thought to do that to Buggy before. He's probably fought so many swordsmen who just gave up, but he's never fought an idiot savant like Luffy.
It also raises fascinating questions about devil fruits in general. It implies a concept of a true body, no matter how the power manifests. Even if Buggy's consciousness is in his head, his sense of pain is distributed throughout all his pieces. It makes one wonder about Logia types. If you could somehow land the blow on a Logia user's elemental form, would their true body, wherever that may be, register the pain? It's a fundamental question that the series will, of course, explore much later.
Oh, that's a deep cut. You're thinking way ahead, but you're right. This is the seed. This is Oda teaching us, the readers, how to think about these powers. Don't take them at face value. Look for the loophole. Luffy is the king of loopholes.
As Buggy is writhing, Luffy tells Nami to drop the treasure and run. He's trying to get her out of there, create an opening. He's done his part. He's neutralized the threat for a moment, and now he wants to ensure her safety.
But this is Nami we're talking about, the future financier of the Straw Hat Pirates. She stops dead in her tracks, hugs this giant bag of gold like it's her own child, and just says no, flat out refuse.
And what does Luffy do with this monumental fight-ending discovery? Does he crush the foot? Does he try to light it on fire? Does he stab it? No, he starts tickling it.
It's the ultimate humiliation. It's a complete psychological dismantling of a foe.
It's perfect. It's the most Luffy thing he could possibly do. Buggy is in the middle of this dramatic villainous assault on Nami, trying to be the most menacing pirate in the East Blue, and suddenly he's laughing uncontrollably, losing his focus because Luffy is tickling his foot from clear across the street. The sheer mental damage this has to be inflicting is immeasurable.
It's not just about winning the fight for Luffy, it's about breaking his opponent's spirit. He's dismantling Buggy's entire persona as a scary, fearsome pirate. He's reducing him to a joke. It's not an attack on his body, it's an attack on his dignity. It's a tactic that is both profoundly silly and devastatingly effective.
And then he starts smacking the foot against the ground, and every time he does, Buggy's head flinches in pain. He has completely neutralized Buggy's offense without throwing a single punch at his main body. He's playing with him like a toy. This is the essence of Luffy's fighting style for the whole series. He doesn't just power up. He finds the one ridiculous, unpredictable solution that no one else would ever think of.
While Buggy's distracted, incapacitated by laughter and pain, Nami sees her own opening. She's not one to sit idle. She swings the huge bag of treasure, trying to use it as a weapon to just clock him out of the air.
A valiant effort, gotta use what you've got, and what she's got is this huge bag of gold. But Buggy is still a threat. He manages to stop his laughing fit long enough to grab onto the bag. Now it's a tug of war.
And Nami will not let go. Her grip on that treasure is stronger than her survival instinct. It is an extension of her own will at this point. To let go of the bag would be to admit defeat, not just to Buggy, but to her own life's mission.
That's our girl. Buggy has his knives out. He's right in her face, about to stab her, and she is still holding onto that bag for dear life. Her knuckles are probably white. She's got this look of pure, defiant greed on her face. You gotta respect it.
The tension is very real here. For a moment, it looks like her greed has finally put her in a situation she can't get out of. She has overestimated her own abilities and underestimated her opponent. A classic mistake.
But Luffy's got her back. He's done playing his little games. The moment Nami is in actual mortal danger, his entire demeanor shifts. Just as Buggy raises his knife for the final blow, Luffy comes flying in with a kick straight to the side of Buggy's head.
A simple, direct, powerful attack. He was playing around before, being a trickster, but when Nami was truly in danger, he got serious. There was no clever gimmick, just pure, protective force. It shows his priorities. The fight is a game, but protecting his friends is not.
The kick is so hard, it sends his head flying. He crashes into the bag of treasure so hard that the whole thing rips open. Gold and jewels spill all over the street.
And what's the first thing Luffy does? He doesn't check on Nami. He doesn't celebrate his victory. He sees the map of the Grand Line spill out with the treasure.
And he snatches it. Mission accomplished. That's the prize. He holds it up, grinning from ear to ear. He got what he came for. All the chaos, all the fighting, it was all secondary to this one singular goal.
It's such a classic Luffy moment. The world can be ending around him, but if he has a goal, he is laser focused on it. He has a one-track mind, and that track is always pointed directly at his dream. The money means nothing to him. The map is everything.
Buggy is down, but not out. He stumbles back, furious, yelling that he's going to reassemble and end them. He calls all his parts back to him. This is supposed to be his big villainous power-up moment.
We see his hands and feet fly back towards his head, clanking into place. It's supposed to be this intimidating moment of regeneration, a monster putting itself back together.
But something's wrong. He looks down and realizes that's it. It's just his head, his hands, and his feet. His entire torso, his arms, his shoulders, they're all gone. It's like he ordered a whole action figure, but only the accessories showed up.
And then the camera pans over, and we see Nami, standing there with a proud, slightly smug smile on her face, holding a rope.
She's got all of his other body parts tied up in a neat little bundle. His torso, his arms, his biceps, all hog-tied like a sack of potatoes. While Luffy was distracting him, while they were fighting over the bag, she was running around gathering up his pieces and taking them out of the game.
This is it. This is the moment the Straw Hats are truly born. It's not one person's victory, it's a combined effort. They operated as a single, cohesive unit without exchanging a single word of planning.
This is what I'm talking about. This is the good stuff. Luffy provided the chaos, the distraction, the brute force. He was the vanguard, the one who broke the enemy's formation, and Nami provided the strategy, the intelligence, the quiet preparation that secured the win. She saw the opening Luffy created, and she capitalized on it perfectly. She didn't just run, she analyzed the situation and acted.
It redefines her role immediately. She's not just a damsel in distress or a greedy tag-along. She's a vital part of the combat strategy. She's a force multiplier. Luffy created a weakness, Buggy's scattered parts, and Nami exploited that weakness to its fullest. This is the dynamic of their crew in a nutshell.
Buggy is just pathetic. He's this tiny little thing, a head on 2 feet with floating hands. He calls it his emergency escape form or something, but it's just sad. It looks like a character a child would draw. The look of pure, unadulterated defeat on his face is priceless.
He knows he's lost. All the bluster, all the threats, it's all gone. He's been completely and utterly outsmarted and overpowered by a rubber boy and a thief. His grand plan to conquer the East Blue has been foiled by 2 teenagers who work better together by accident than his whole crew does on purpose.
And now it's time for the finisher, the grand finale. Luffy winds up, stretches his arms way, way back. You know it's coming, the signature move.
He calls out the name of the attack. Gum Gum!
Bazooka! He slams both palms into Buggy's tiny form and sends him absolutely flying. He becomes a twinkle in the sky. Team Rocket is blasting off again.
A definitive end to the confrontation. Buggy the Clown has officially left the stage, forcefully ejected from the narrative of this island. It's not just a defeat, it's an expulsion.
That's how you beat a Yonko, people. I'm just saying, the blueprint was right here in Chapter 20. Okay, maybe too soon for that, but what a finish! Luffy got the map, he protected his friend, and he sent the villain flying into the stratosphere. Perfect. Super!
It is a very clean resolution. And with that, Luffy, Nami, and a still unconscious Zoro are the masters of Orangetown.
This chapter also came with a little note from Oda, a little message from God himself.
Oh yes, he says, "Now then, are you ready? It'll come out, finally. One Piece Volume 1. The release date is Christmas."
That's so cool to think about. Imagine being a kid in Japan in 1997. You're reading this in Shonen Jump, and then you see this message. The very first volume of the manga coming out on Christmas. What a gift to the world that would turn out to be. Oda had to be so excited. You can feel the energy in that text.
He also mentions there are bonus pages.
It's just nice to see that energy right from the very beginning. He's not just a creator handing down a product. He's a fan of his own work, excited to share it in a new format. That passion is a rare and powerful thing.
Absolutely. He loves this world and these characters just as much as we do. It shines through in every single line, every panel. It's why we're still here, hundreds and hundreds of chapters later.
So Buggy is gone. The map is secured. The town is safe. Where does that leave our fledgling crew?
Well, Nami still has that treasure she refused to let go of, or what's left of it after the bag ripped, and she has the map. Luffy's the one holding it, but she's the only one who can read it.
Their partnership just became much more codependent. He has the goal and the means to protect the map, but she has the skill to actually use it. They need each other. She can't defend the map from threats like Buggy, and he can't make sense of it. Their goals are, for now, aligned.
And Zoro is still passed out in a side street somewhere, I guess. He's missed this entire incredible character-defining fight. He's gonna wake up and wonder why the town is suddenly quiet and why Buggy's torso is tied up in a corner.
I think this is the chapter that solidifies Nami's temporary alliance, at the very least. She's seen what Luffy is capable of, not just his strength, but his strange, unwavering morality. She saw him risk his life for her, even while she was being incredibly stubborn and, frankly, a liability.
He earned her respect here, and she earned his. That teamwork at the end with her tying up Buggy's parts, that's the foundation of a real crew. They didn't even have to talk about it. They were just in sync. It was instinct. Luffy creates the openings and his crew takes them.
It establishes a dynamic we see again and again. Luffy confronts the big threat head-on, creating chaos and drawing all the attention. The rest of the crew then uses their unique skills to handle the surrounding problems, dismantle the opponent's support structure, and create the opening for his final victory. It happened with Zoro against Morgan, and it happens here with Nami against Buggy.
It's the best. Every single member is essential. There are no side characters on the Straw Hat crew, and this is the chapter that proves it, even with only 2 active members. Every part is vital, just like Buggy's parts, ironically. You take one piece away, and the whole thing is weaker for it. What a chapter. Super!
A perfect place to pause and think about what comes next.
Yeah, for sure. If you've got a theory about how Nami's quick thinking here compares to her later strategies, like in Alabasta or Enies Lobby, I'd love to see it in the comments. It's always cool to trace the growth of our favorite navigator. This is her origin story as the crew's strategist.
Now, for predictions, what do you see happening in Chapter 21?
Okay, prediction 1. The townspeople, led by Mayor Boodle, are going to come out of hiding. They'll see the wreckage, the scattered treasure, and Luffy standing there with the map. They'll hail him as their savior. But Luffy, being Luffy, will completely ignore the praise. His stomach will rumble, and he will just immediately ask where he can find some meat.
That feels incredibly likely. He's probably starving after all that. He might even try to use the precious Grand Line map as a napkin.
Prediction 2. Nami is going to try and negotiate a new deal. The handshake agreement is over. She's seen what he's capable of, and he's seen her skill. She'll agree to navigate them to the Grand Line, but she will demand a ridiculously high percentage of all future treasure they find, citing her contribution to this victory as evidence of her value. This will be the formal start of her role as the crew's treasurer and contract negotiator.
An official contract. I can see that. She'll want everything in writing with clauses and sub-clauses. Luffy will agree without reading a single word of it.
Exactly. And for my third prediction, we'll see where Buggy landed. I don't think he's gone for good. A character this good can't just be a one-off. I think we'll get a short comedic scene of him crash landing on a different island and starting to plot his revenge. Oda's not done with him yet. This feels like the beginning of Buggy's long, strange journey.
Interesting. Setting up a future cover story, perhaps. A very Oda-like move. Okay, my turn.
Let's hear it.
My first prediction is that Zoro finally wakes up. The fight is over, the dust has settled, Nami is counting her money, Luffy is looking for meat, and Zoro just sits up, looks around at the peaceful town, and asks Luffy, "Did I miss anything?" And Luffy will just grin and say, "Nope."
Yes, that is 100% what would happen. He was out for the whole thing. He's gonna be so mad he missed a good fight.
Second, with the immediate threat gone, the reality of their situation will set in. Nami will unroll the map, look at it, and then look at the tiny little dinghy they stole from Alvida. The next immediate goal will be stated outright, likely by her. We need a real ship. The Dream is now facing its first logistical hurdle.
Oh, that's a good one. A ship and a cook and a musician and a shipwright. They're still missing key components for a real pirate crew. The quest for the Going Merry is about to begin. It's the end of one micro-arc and the clear beginning of the next.
Precisely. And for my final prediction, I think we'll see a bit more of Nami's internal thoughts. She'll be sorting her treasure, but she'll reflect on what just happened. We'll get a small hint that her absolute hatred of pirates has developed an asterisk next to it. She might not trust Luffy, she might still plan on leaving him eventually, but she'll acknowledge that he's different, not like the others she's known.
A little crack in her armor. I like that. She's seen him protect people twice now. First, the dog, Chow Chow, which she acted like she didn't care about, and now her and the whole town. That's gotta count for something, even for someone as guarded as her.
It has to. Her actions in tying up Buggy's parts showed an instinct to help him win. She might tell herself it was just to secure the treasure, but I think a part of her is starting to believe in him, even if she won't admit it out loud.
Awesome. These are some solid predictions. I can't wait to see what Oda has in store for us next. The East Blue is starting to open up.
The road to the Grand Line is officially open.
And we're going to be right here for every step of the journey. Join us next time as we break down Chapter 21. Until then, stay super.